Welcome to another episode of History and Crime, the podcast where we delve into the dark and intriguing stories from our past. Today, we'll be exploring the events that took place on January 19th throughout history that have a criminal twist to them. So, let's jump right in. In 1911, the infamous gangster Joseph Patrick Masseria, also known as Joe the Boss, was born. Masseria was one of the most powerful mafia bosses in New York City during the early 20th century. He rose to prominence as the head of one of the city's 5 mafia families and played a significant role in shaping organised crime in America. Moving forward to 1977, serial killer Gary Gilmore was staked unalive by firing squad in Utah, marking the first death penalty carried out in the United States after the reinstatement of capital punishment. Gilmore had been convicted of 2 separate murders and famously demanded his own execution, refusing any attempts to appeal or commute his sentence. In a more positive historical event, on January 19, 1983, Apple introduced the famous Apple Lisa computer. Although not initially successful, the Apple Lisa had a significant impact on the development of personal computing, paving the way for future innovations. It featured a graphical user interface, which revolutionized the way people interacted with computers. Shifting gears back to true crime, on this day in 1993, 2 10-year-old boys, Robert Thompson and John Venables, were charged with the abduction, torture and murder of 2-year-old James Bulger in Liverpool, England. The shocking nature of the crime sent shockwaves through the country and raised questions about the age of criminal responsibility and the influence of violent media on young minds. On this day in 1915, one of the most infamous con men in American history, Victor Lustig, managed to successfully sell the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Yes, you heard that right, the actual Eiffel Tower. Lustig, posing as a government official, convinced a group of scrap iron dealers that the French government was auctioning off the iconic landmark due to financial difficulties. He walked away with a suitcase full of cash, never to be seen by his victims again. Lustig's audacity and cunning earned him a place in criminal history as one of the most skilled con artists of all time. Moving along to 1977, we find ourselves in the midst of controversy surrounding the punk rock movement. Punk music was known for its rebellious nature and its disregard for authority. On this day, Sid Vicious, the bassist of the notorious punk band Sex Pistols, was arrested for the murder of his girlfriend Nancy Spungen. This tragic event marked the end of an era for the punk movement, with Vicious becoming a symbol of self-destruction and the excesses of the rock and roll lifestyle. In 1991, January 19th became the date associated with one of the most shocking crimes in the art world. Thieves stole 12 paintings, including works by Vermeer, Degas and Rembrandt from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston. The stolen artwork, with a worth estimated to be over $500 million, has never been recovered, and the case still remains unsolved. This heist is considered the largest art theft in history and has captivated the public's imagination, inspiring countless documentaries, books and theories attempting to unravel the mystery. Stepping back even further, on this day in 1795, a notorious figure in French history met his end. Maximilien Robespierre, a prominent figure during the French Revolution, was executed by the very guillotine he had used to condemn so many others. Robespierre's reign of terror saw thousands of people sent to their deaths during the height of the revolution, but it ultimately came crashing down as public opinion turned against him. This execution marked the end of the radical phase of the French Revolution and symbolised the demise of a man who had become consumed by his own thirst for power. Finally, on January 19, 2007, Patricia Hearst, the heiress to the Hearst publishing empire, was granted a presidential pardon by President Bill Clinton. Hearst had been convicted of armed robbery in 1976 after joining the radical left-wing group, the Symbionese Liberation Army, following her kidnapping by the group. Her pardon sparked debates on the abuse of power, celebrity status, and the nature of forgiveness. As we look back on these events from history, we are reminded of the complex relationship between crime and societal dynamics. Exploring these stories not only helps us understand our past, but also sheds light on the present and future. And that wraps up our journey into the history and crime of January 19. From con men to murder to art heists and political revolutions, this day has seen it all. I hope you enjoyed this unique dive into the darker side of history. Join us next time as we explore more fascinating tales that intertwine history and crime. Until then, stay curious, my friends.